Welcome to the Fairways of Life show.
It takes a lot of work to get to this point in my career.
Gents, here's where I want to go now.
If I can practice, I know I can still do it.
Great players are ones who rise to the occasion.
And go again.
With the most candid interviews.
Well, I'll tell you a little story.
Ice cream is the motivator.
But an ice cream is so good.
Stunning.
Taking you beyond the ropes.
Maddie, let me just bring you over here. So there's the Ryder Cup Masters Trophy.
Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
Ryan Fox steps in to win the Open. Putt is on its way. Yes, he has done it! Ryan Fox birdies the last, and he wins the 154th Open at Royal Birkdale. He joins an illustrious list of winners. Peter Thompson did it twice, Arnold Palmer, Lee Trevino, Johnny Miller, Tom Watson, Ian Baker Finch, Mark O'Meara, Padraig Harrington, Jordan Spieth. Add the name of Ryan Fox, forevermore known as a major champion. He has won the World's Championship, the Open, right here. Crazy. What's going on, folks? And good day, one and all. That was from, I host the one of the commentators and hosts for Open Radio is what it's called. But the producers took the sound from, I think in North America you would have listened probably on Sirius XM, but it's on their apps and their websites, and it's syndicated around the world. But the producers took the sound and matched it to the video there, as you saw, and it was an incredible week. Congratulations to Ryan Fox on his victory as we welcome you into our PXG Custom Studios. I don't remember. Dom, do you remember the last time that we did a show from our home studio?
7 years ago.
Yeah, it seems like
to the day.
Yeah, sounds like that's about right. So we've got a great show for you coming up today because, having had the chance to be an eyewitness to everything that took place at the Open. Andrew, do you have that graphic you did where you guys put together the groups that I did the play-by-play for over the course of the past week? It's kind of crazy. Thursday, it was Bob McIntyre, Ricky Fowler, Alex Fitzpatrick. Then Friday, it was Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, and Matt Fitzpatrick. Friday in the afternoon, Tommy Fleetwood, John Rahm, and Jordan Spieth. Then they have me host these Q&As with different legends. So I did Padraig Harrington Saturday in the AM, and then around noontime I went off with Scotty Scheffler and Francesco Molinari. Sunday I doubled up in the Q&As with Ian Baker Finch, who you just heard me mention in that winning call. He won it in 91. And then Fanny Sunison, who was, a groundbreaking caddy as a female in Sir Nick Faldo. And then in the afternoon, of course, I was assigned to Ryan Fox and Sam Burns, as you just heard. One of Fanny's stories, it was amazing. In fact, she didn't even tell it. Sir Nick told the story. And it was when she went to, this was a major championship, and it's a major championship held at the same course. And so she shows up to the caddy, call it barn or whatever the facility was where the caddies went, and she went in to use the bathroom. There was no doors on the toilets because it was all men, and she was the first woman to be there in that role. So crazy stuff like that. So it was an amazing week, and we're going to get into the details of just how amazing a week it was. Certainly for Ryan Fox, it was mind-blowing how well he did, particularly down that finishing stretch. We're going to get into the details of the same. Here is the way it all settled out, with Ryan finishing with a one-shot victory over Cam Young. Cam Young had been in for hours before Ryan Fox made his way in. Sam Burns finishing 2 more shots adrift. There's Scotty Scheffler finishing at 7. Tommy Fleetwood, the hope of all the locals there. And in fairness, I think much of the UK too, because it's so easy to be a fan of Tommy Fleetwood. And the rest, you could see all the 3 players on 6 under par, and Jarvis and Herbert and Kim and Siwoo Kim. So it was incredible, though. And the numbers from Ryan Fox at the Open kind of tell their own story. First, in strokes gained total, look at what he gained. This is on the average of the field, 12.63. Is that mind-blowing? First in strokes gained putting at positive 9.45. He made so many great, brave putts. Fifth in greens and regulation, 10th in strokes gained off the tee, 21st in strokes gained approach. Now, as to what he did on the greens, 458 feet of putts. That's first. Putts made from 20 feet, 10 of 21, 47%. Putts made from 10 feet, 14 of 18. That's 77%. Now, that is for a tour average, would have been less than 50% there. Putts made from 5 feet, 44 of 47, 93%. He's starting to, at that stat line there, he's starting to hit the percentage that players would have from, say, 3 feet. It's about 99%, but you can see it's within 5-6% there. Final round putts made from 5 feet. He was 9 of 9 for 100%. That is mind-blowing in the final round. And final round strokes gained putting, he was first, positive 3.96. When he sat down with the press, the first question anybody should ask him is this: how does it feel?
Surreal, to be honest. I mean, it's something you dream of. You know, I used to get up in the middle of the night to watch this tournament back home. And, you know, it was always something that was there just to be able to play in it first up. And, you know, now to be an Open champion, to be the champion golfer of the year, it's, yeah, unbelievable, surreal, crazy. I don't have enough words in my vocabulary to explain it, to be honest. It's huge for New Zealand golf. You know, I think we've got 4 major champions from New Zealand now: Michael Campbell, Lydia Ko, a multi-major champion, and Sir Bob. So to be able to join them is amazing. Yeah, to have my own little piece of history there too. You know, it's. I don't know if it was something I dreamed of. I don't know if it was something that I ever thought was possible, but we're here now.
Would it be fair to say that that's probably the best golf hole you've ever played in your life, the way you tackled that 18th hole? And can you talk about the emotions coming up there?
Yeah, definitely the first part. I mean, I hit 2 shots exactly how I wanted to hit them. And I didn't feel anything for the putt. Everything was shaking that much. I was just happy to hit it somewhat near the hole, and to see it go in was incredible. But, you know, I did say to my caddy, Dean, on the tee that we were going to take it on, that I was going to try to win the tournament, and I'd live with the consequences if I stuffed it up. And, you know, to go out there and execute, you know, that drive's not a very comfortable tee shot, obviously, and to hit it in the fairway and give myself a chance was huge. And then I landed on a good number. I think I had 160 metres to the hole. You know, the breeze was a little down off the left. Obviously, you know, everything's a bit jumped up there, so it was just a solid 9, and I hit it exactly where I wanted to hit it. And I think I screamed at it, "Please be good in the air," and it was. And you know, to cap it off with the putt, you know, everyone practices on the green, I guess. You've got a putt to hold a major championship or to win the Open. It's not like that in real life. It's not a very comfortable feeling, but it's certainly very enjoyable when you see it go in.
Incredible perspective on what he was actually going through, because even to me that was standing right there with him, it looked like nothing but bravery and mental assurance that it. And then he sits before the meeting and was like, yeah, I couldn't even feel my hands. Ryan Fox notes the 2026 Open champion has 3 PGA Tour wins, 5 wins on the DP World Tour, 20 professional wins to his credit. He's 22nd in the official World Golf Rankings. He's 2nd in the International President's Cup standings. We'll get into that in more detail coming up. 21st in FedEx Cup standings. 205 DP World Tour starts to his credit, 94 on the PGA Tour, 29 major championship starts. It was his first start in the last 10, 40 career top 10s, PGA Tour and DP World Tour. Second player to win the Open from New Zealand behind Bob Charles, but that was, 63 if memory serves? Third player to win a major from New Zealand overall. And he is the ripe old age of 39 years old. When he was on Fairways of Life with us, we asked him about what it's like to have the legend, the blood, I should say, of legends coursing through his veins, status that he now joins.
So golf was just something a little bit different, and I definitely got a bit more publicity in New Zealand out of it than I would have because of my heritage. But it was nice to kind of carve my own path there.
Well, it also shows that winning is in the blood.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky. I think there is some pretty good genetics, both with hand-eye coordination, and my grandfather was renowned as being very cool, calm, and collected under pressure. My dad was more fiery and competitive. So I think my mum's kind of said that I've got a little bit the best of both. I'm maybe not as short-tempered as my dad could be, but I've got his competitive streak. But I've got, she's always said I feel a bit like her dad, that I can stay cool and calm and collected. I don't necessarily feel it inside sometimes, but I obviously got some good genetics there and some good coaching and mental help when I was young, without probably thinking it was anything.
Boy, he was calm, cool, and collected on that Sunday. So it seemed. Again, he was saying in the press conference immediately following that that's not necessarily how he felt. There was a question was asked for him in his press conference. What changes did you and your caddy make this week in relation to your mental game? Here's him responding to that part from his press conference with the media.
I've just always loved links golf from the first time I played it. I just love the creativity needed. I think growing up in New Zealand, we play in a fair bit of wind, so getting to do that and having to control your ball and hit some not proper golf shots or not normal golf shots is really cool, and that's probably what I enjoy about golf and links golf the most. And I feel like I've played well in opens before, but just never really put 4 rounds together. And I probably wouldn't say I put 4 rounds together this week either. I put 3 together, obviously, to give myself even a chance today after yesterday's round. You're not expecting that going out, even though you feel like you can shoot a low score early, to go out and shoot 62 and go from 52nd or whatever I was into the last group. That doesn't happen very often. And then to completely different circumstances to today go out with the pressure on, with a chance to win the Open and actually do it. I mean, I didn't know what I was going to feel going out there today. I did say to my caddy a few holes in, I feel better than I thought I was going to feel, but I probably still didn't feel that comfortable, but got a little bit more comfortable down the stretch. We changed things up this week a little bit. We actually had less discussion on clubs, so I could own it a little bit more. He probably was getting a few earfuls from me being in between clubs and taking it out on him. And talk with my sports site, Carl Morris. He was here earlier this week, and we kind of chatted about I'm better when I create a shot. And creating a shot is almost getting the data off Dean, my caddy, and then I make the decision on kind of everything else, and then I verbalise what I'm going to do to him. And I did that really well the whole of this week, especially coming down the stretch today. And, the other thing we worked on was, especially over the putter, just take some deep breaths. I do tend to get a little quick at times, and just taking a second longer, especially over a putt, just get myself ready, get myself relaxed. I did that a lot down the stretch. I'm pretty sure you could probably see it on camera as well. There was a lot of deep breaths walking down some fairways, just trying to compose myself, and obviously worked pretty well.
Incredible stuff. And we're going to continue this conversation about the significance of this victory and how refreshing it is to have a major champion for all the things that the week was. That's so easy to be a fan of, no doubt about that. All right, Ben Hogan Golf is back. I know you would be a fan of playing your very best golf, and you'd be very proud to carry clubs that have the name Ben Hogan etched right in the metal. They look like artwork, but they are packed with modern technology, and the relationship is direct between you and Ben Hogan. There's no middleman. They literally are your tour truck. Play your best with the name of the best etched right into them. Log on to benhogangolf.com. Back with more of the Fairways Life Show. When we come back, another that was an eyewitness to everything that took place on Sunday. Stay with us.
For decades, Superstroke has owned the greens. The biggest wins, the biggest moments. trusted by more tour players than any other putter grip in the game. But we didn't stop there. We reimagined what a swing grip could be. Revel isn't just a new product, it's the next chapter of performance. And it didn't take long to prove it. From the first tee to the final putt, now every shot deserves Superstroke.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
When you play PXG, everything clicks. That's the sound of confidence, of performance, of knowing your new PXG Gen 8 irons and new Lightning Woods are designed and custom fit for pros and golfers just like you. A better game is just a click away. Visit pxg.com to learn more. PXG, you've never played like this before.
Every golfer dreams of reaching the next level. FlightScope Nevo Gen 2 gives you 18 data parameters with the accuracy you demand to improve your game, all measured with FlightScope's patented fusion tracking. Its 6-hour battery life gives you uninterrupted play and practice outdoors and indoors. Tee it up on the included simulation bundle. See your shots come to life with the FlightScope AR Tracer. Have fun, improve your game, shoot lower scores with no required subscriptions. Buy your FlightScope Nevo Gen 2 now at flightscope.com.
Head down, water down the left, bunker down the right, take the club straight back.
Wandering minds. When golfers lose their focus, they're totally... But Bridgestone can help. Introducing Mindset. The ball scientifically designed to keep you focused. First, identify your target. Next, visualize your shot path.
And then focus on the green dot and smooth one.
Play the Tour B and E12 with Mindset technology.
See what happens when we work together? Stuff like that.
Nice one.
Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams, and I have skin cancer, just like almost 10% of the U.S. population, but even more scary, 30% of us golfers. So once again, the legacy of Arnold Palmer is leading the game with Arnie's Mineral Sunscreen. It's a lightweight SPF 50 mineral-based sunscreen that's clean, safe, non-greasy, and no fuss. Log on to shoparnies.com to protect yourself and live life to the fullest, just like the king.
I like playing aggressive. I like playing fast. That's just how I've always played the game. I was the same playing cricket. You know, my dad would give me stick about not wanting to run between the wickets. I'd always want to hit 4s and 6s, which probably means nothing to an American audience, but it's kind of like hitting a home run kind of thing. So I just always, every sport I played growing up was the same. Tennis, I wanted to hit the ball hard. Cricket, I wanted to hit the ball hard. Rugby, I got hit hard more than I actually hit people hard. But it was just, I think it just translated into golf that I wanted to be aggressive. I wanted to hit driver hard. I took shots on, and I was pretty erratic growing up, but managed to kind of rein it in a little bit. And you know, over the years, I've been pretty lucky. I've won some pretty cool tournaments. And if you had told me right now that you know, I'd have won a couple of times on the PGA Tour and a few times in Europe and a couple of pretty big events, I would have bitten your hand off 15 years ago when I turned pro.
Amazing stuff from Ryan Fox, that from his recent interview with us here on the Fairways of Life show. And I think everybody is celebrating him as an Open champion because of the way that he did it, because of the way that he closed, and also because of the person that he is and how humble an individual he is as well. He's got all these basic attributes and circumstance that he played so bravely down the stretch. You guys are familiar with our friend Paul Eales. Ealesy is a winner on the European Tour. He's a member of their board of directors. It's now called the DP World Tour. He and I were assigned to do the play-by-play on that final day with Sam Burns and with Ryan Fox. And he's joining us right now to reflect on all that was. And Ealesy, it's great to see you again. Thank you for the friendship and the hospitality throughout the course of the week. It was amazing to share the experience with you. I guess the broad brush that I would ask to start with today is down the road. How will this Open be remembered?
Oh, that's a good question, Matt. I think it will be fondly remembered. I think the viewing figures coming out, certainly stateside, put it as one of the better ones in recent years. I think the manner in which Ryan won with that birdie down 18, 4 birdies in the last 6 holes, chasing a target down in the final group, it just speaks volumes for the championship. Perfect weather. The golf course played its part. There were 362s in the week, yet 10 under par won the tournament. The average player was over par score-wise. So I think the whole mix came. And then, of course, the crowds cheering Tommy on, the local boy. So there was a really good atmosphere about the championship. So I think all in all, big tick boxes for everything, really. It was a sensational championship.
Yeah, indeed. I agree with everything you pointed out. Earlier in that week, we got together and we were walking around parts of the different golf course, and we did a feature that we aired on last week's show about 15, 16, 17, and 18. And how could we have known that 15, 16, 17, and 18 would play out as so dramatic in that final stretch? What we saw from Ryan Fox in both adversity and in opportunity, I can't remember a finish like that in the Open. I'm not sure if one comes to mind to you, at least recently, of a player finishing that way. But could you talk to us about what we witnessed from him on 15, then the opportunity at 16, and then what happened on 17, and then ultimately how it played out at the last?
Yeah, 15 is a long path 3, a new hole to Royal Birkdale since Jordan Spieth won. And playing downwind, he missed his landing zone. It's a very long kidney-shaped green. He missed his landing zone by a matter of feet, and the ball hit into the revetted face and shot straight across to the backside of the bunker. So when he actually got down there, he couldn't stand in the bunker to play the ball toward the hole. He had to stand out the bunker if he was going to play it forward. He eventually stood in the bunker, played back, which was a brave and sensible move, and then up and down it for a bogey 4. The only time I can remember a bogey being so powerful as that was when Jordan won back in 17 on hole 13 with the practice ground and the dune. He made a great bogey 5 there on the 13th hole. So similar sort of things there. 16 was just a fiendish pin on the right-hand side of the green. No room at all. He hit an iron into the perfect place and wedged it into around about 12 feet, rolled that one straight in the middle. So there was the shot back. 17, he was unlucky. We were stood on top of a dune on the right-hand side, and we saw this ball land, and it ran, and it ran, and it ran, and 100 yards later, it just fell into a fairway bunker. From there, he couldn't reach the par 5 in 2. He played up short, took 2 more to get down, so a par 5 left him tied going to 18T. 18 is just an awesome hole. You've got bunkers just everywhere that all you can see is sand from the tee box. The clubhouse sits at the back of the green 550 yards away, and he absolutely striped a tee shot. It could not have been any better. Left him I think it was about 175 or so to a back right pin. And this iron shot he hit 8-iron, 9-iron, whatever it was, never left the flag. And it came to a halt some 12 feet short. And as you beautifully called by the green there, he holed it and became, won the Open Championship, 154th Open winner. It was absolutely sensational finish. What a roller coaster ride it was for us watching along, Matt. We didn't know which way it was going to go.
No, that is for certain. Particularly, the way you just beautifully broke down 15, 16, 17, and 18. When he had to play the shot out backwards at 15, there was a sense that maybe this was the beginning of the end. Right, because Fortune did not smile on him on that 15th, and he gets up and down. He makes a great bogey, but it puts him again one further shot adrift. Then he birdies 16, and as you guys just heard Paul describe, 16 they describe as an infinity green. It's this raised green complex, and because we had the traditional winds and it was stout, those finishing holes built so that they play to crosswinds is really remarkable. And that added to the complexity. So his birdie there was quite profound. Then at 17, again, Paul, as you said, his ball ran until it just dribbled over the edge of that bunker. It felt like, again, maybe fate was aligning against him here and we wouldn't see him be in a position to win until after he walks off that 17 green. And at that point, we knew if he parred 18, he'd be in a playoff with Cam Young, who was in what, Paul, 3 hours prior to
at least 3
finish,
hours.
right? And then he hits the drive of his life, the iron of his life, obviously the putt of his life. And he told the media afterwards that he was going to, I'm paraphrasing obviously, but he was going to go for it. He was going to play aggressive on that last hole. That's his style. We just heard him talking about that coming into this segment, and that he could live with whatever the consequences would be as a result. From a player's perspective, you've played in 7 or 8 Opens yourself. You're a winner on the what's now called the DP World Tour, the rest. What kind of courage does it take to stand on that 18th tee, the new 18th tee at that, look down that fairway and decide, I'm not playing it safe. I'm not going to play to avoid the bunkers and secure myself in a playoff and take my chances. I'm going to smash this ball down there as hard as I possibly can and see what happens.
Well, it takes a lot of courage. That's how he plays normally, Matt, but it wasn't all about full blast, let's go for everything. On 15, he chose clearly in his thoughts to come back away. What's the best chance I have of not, compounding this fortunate tee shot and finding this bad lie? And then on 17, he could have reached the green in 2 from that fairway bunker. Yes, he would have been standing on the grass outside of it, but the lip in front wasn't great. The newly designed bunkers have all been there, designed to give the players an opportunity to go, but he didn't. He chose to lay up. Now think about 18. In round 3, when he shot the course record equal in 62, he drove it into one of the fairway bunkers, some 180 yards from the green, and he smashed it onto the green and then 2-putted for a 4 and a round of 62. So he was thinking clearly, but not just aggressively, I'm going to go for everything. It was a remarkable feat of concentration and awareness of the situation. He'd been working really hard with Carl Morris, the golf psychologist, who, if you remember back to Louis Oosthuizen when he won at St Andrews and Louis had the red spot on his glove, that was Carl Morris. So a guy that knows what he's talking about. And Ryan was clearly thinking clearly as he played that stretch, when sure the emotions could have got him carried away and anything could have happened, but they didn't. He stayed in control of his mind. His golf game was there. He'd been there all week. He'd shot 62 the day before, so it's not like he's looking for a bit of form. He was on top form, and boy, what 2 shots he hit down that final hole. It was just the power, the accuracy, and then to finish it off with that putt and the speed that it was all carried out was quite remarkable in the modern day game.
Yeah, when you say the speed, are you talking about the speed that he plays the game, or you're talking about how hard and fast the golf became, the golf course?
No, how quickly he actually approaches the shot. You know, it was clear that he'd worked out with his caddy and his psychologist that, do you know what, I've got to make these decisions. When I make them nice and clear, I'm not going to interrupt them with second thoughts. I'm just going to go ahead and play. And I think that somebody did some timings or something from when Sam Burns picked the ball out of the hole for his par four to finish one out. 22 seconds later, Ryan's hit that putt. He was already reading the putt while Sam Burns was trying to make his birdie. So, you know, he was very much, that's the way he plays. He likes to get on with it. It's a power game. Yes, it's a quick game, but he's not letting those negative thoughts impinge on his great technique.
What do you think his story of entering the game late in life, winning at 39 years old, playing with the golf swing that's clearly his own, what do you think that story says to the world at large?
Well, let's hope it says to a lot of coaches and kids that you don't have to be great early on. We know there's a lot of science out there that's saying the multiple sports background that Mr. Nicholas had, playing all sports as a child, definitely helps you as you go through life. And that's certainly Ryan's case. You know, he came to golf at 17 or 18 years of age, having played cricket and rugby and various other things. And, you know, he started his journey then. So when you think about it, 20 years later, he joins the PGA Tour as a 37-year-old. And 2 years later, he's a major champion. It's a remarkable story, and a one that I think, you know, would give those outliers and those that probably aren't reaching maturation as a youngster early, you know, a chance. No, if I stick at this, you know, who knows what's going to happen? And he's a great example. And of course, you get the other end of the story, which was Tiger, and his glittering career as a junior, and then into senior golf, amateur golf, and then of course hit the road very quickly as a professional. So many different ways to get to the journey's end in golf. And then of course it goes on. You've got the senior tour now. I mean, how many events did Hale Irwin win plus 50, and Bernard Langer's still winning in his 60s? We are so fortunate that we play this great game of golf, and it is so humbling, but it keeps us younger a lot longer than maybe some of the other sports and able to participate in it.
Yeah, little doubt about that, Paul. That's very, very true. Interestingly, as we're having this discussion in context, Paul and his wife are also members at Royal Birkdale. His wife, Sharon, is the chairperson of the Greens, the first woman to hold that position in the 154 opens that have taken place, 153, I should say, previous, because in this one, she held that distinguished position. So if I may ask you to speak collectively then for a moment, Paul, how pleased were you as a member and after the renovations of the golf course that this Open played out just the way that it did?
Yeah, it was always a gamble, Matt. When the master plan from Tom McKenzie, the architect, came in, the club members had a vote. Do they want to do this prior to the Open, which was 3 years down the road, or wait and do it after, or part of it before? And the members decided, no, let's get on with it. And less than 18 months ago, there were still dozers moving sand around. And, wow. You know, there were 5 brand new greens, 4 actually on the golf course that were constructed. And you couldn't really tell, although Scotty Scheffler said you could see which the new ones were. But no, ever so proud of the course. And of course, how it played. Nobody knew how it was going to play. It was, the conditions were perfect. It was fast and running. We know that the numbers from the agronomy team are as good, if not better, than any other recorded for Open Championships. So we knew the playing surfaces were great. The weather, the wind laid down. Yes, it got up in a wrong direction, but the players had practiced that all week. And so, I mean, everybody at the club that I've been down the last couple of days, actually, Matt, the holes are still in there from Sunday. So I was able to go out and play off some of the back tees, which I'm not going to do again because it's way too far. 14, I hit a driver 3-wood and left me 157 to the green. Those guys were knocking it on in 2 from there. So I think I'm a little bit short now. And but it's such a thrill. But, you know, you still get 1 or 2 of the members down there, you know, that putting the course back to where it was before all the grandstands went back and all the hospitality units went up. yes, there is a lot of disturbance from the membership and for the membership, but no, everybody's so proud of the way the course stood up and the decisions they made to go ahead with the changes.
Will it become almost obligatory now that when, particularly when guests are at the golf course, and surely if it hasn't already happened, every member will do the same thing. You have to go and try to make that putt at 18, even if you put a tee into the green where the pin was cut that day. But you said it's actually still there, which is really cool and exciting. Did you try it? Did you make it?
I didn't. I missed it on the left side, Matt, but I did. I did try it. It was the second of my 3 putts on that green, and ended up with a 5. But I did have a go, similar line, and Ryan's went straight in the middle, and mine just went by. But there you go. But I mean, we're never going to be able to hit the shots that he did. But we can do. You can go in that bunker. I stood in the bunker where he was at 15 yesterday, and I thought, wow, what would I have done in this situation with the pressure? I'd have probably tried to move it further down the green and then chip on from the side. But, his clarity of thought, as I've mentioned, he chipped it backwards toward the tee box, and not just short. He ended up being around about 50 yards away from that hole, which was cut 30-odd paces onto the green. So that was a big choice for him to make. And of course, you while the shots are fresh in your memory, you get the chance to do it. Number 5, the drivable par 4. I can go forward to a tee and drive the ball on the green. I can't do it off the back tee because it's 300 yards. So, all these things that we are able to do at Birkdale as members, which we're fortunate enough to be able to do. And any of the visitors that come, if they know they hit it 240 off the tee, well, move up a couple of boxes on number 5 and have a go yourself. See whether you can get it on the green in one. So I think all in all, the changes have been very, very positive at the golf club. They've been done for and behalf of the members. So all of the bunkers were made a little bit shallower, so they weren't the deep pot bunkers that maybe some of people are used to on the seaside course. And we did that because our aging membership were finding it physically hard to get in and out of the bunkers because it was a big step down. So, and then of course the ability then for the top players to be able to try and get the ball out with a flatter face club. And we saw 1 or 2 players, mixing up ability and expectation there and burying the ball straight into the face in front of them, thinking they could get it out. And that's the challenge, the risk and reward. And that's great design. And I think we're pretty proud of what we put on show there for the world and for the world's best players, because obviously it's very different for us recreational golfers when we go and play.
Yeah, rightfully so, Paul. The comments from the players by and large was extremely positive. It's funny you brought up 5 because it cast my mind back to Sunday and thinking about what took place there, because you remember Ryan Fox went left and he hit the temporary bridge that was built over that little burn on the left side and kind of tumbled around down there and got really lucky. He had a shot from down there. There was another instance where it easily could have gone sideways.
Absolutely. And then, of course, Sam Burns had hit it into the perfect spot, front left of that green, with a little straightforward chip up the green, and he overcooked it, ran off the back and down and ended up in a bogey, and Ryan made 4. So it was kind of, would expect Ryan to have made a 5 and Sam to make a 4, but it was the wrong way around, and it just wasn't Sam Burns' day.
Yeah, it's classic. Some of the other storylines that were floating around, one of them you've already alluded to was Tommy Fleetwood and the amount of emotions from Tommy. And we're due to hear from him later on in today's show where he responds to the same. But his emotions when he finished up and those of the people, it was really cool and very powerful to hear the way that he was received as he would walk up virtually to every green.
Yeah, I followed Tommy on the Saturday, and every green that he walked onto, it was a standing ovation. Between every green and the next tee box, he was cheered along. And it's not often you go to a golf event that Rory McIlroy doesn't take the biggest audience, but all this week, Tommy Fleetwood carried the biggest fan load around with him, and his reception, although we were behind on 18, was apparently very moving for a lot of people. And He gave Finno a big hug, and it meant so much for him. But Tommy carries himself so well, so proud that, I'm a professional in the same sport as that young man. And, he carried the weight of the local community with him there, with his own expectations as well. And it just didn't fall his way either.
The story of Bryson DeChambeau and the two-stroke penalty, the dust on that, of course, continues to reverberate through social media and otherwise. But if we go down the road, I literally started this interview with you asking how this Open will be remembered. Things of that nature, call them controversial or noteworthy or however you want to define it, do they tend to reverberate as you go down the road? Or does time tend to remember what the champion did?
I think probably what the champion did. I think the only incident I can think of is maybe 99 when Jean van der Velde went paddling at Carnoustie and Paul Lawrie went on to win. But I think this will always be remembered for Ryan Fox. Bryson DeChambeau is not in the conversation. Certainly the last 2 days I've been down to Royal Birkdale, not one of the members has asked me anything about him. It's all about how good was Ryan Fox? How good is he going to be? Because the club will bestow upon him honorary membership, as all champions, male and female, that have won majors at Royal Birkdale will become or offered honorary membership. And I look forward to the days when he does return because, as we saw with Ian Baker Finch, who won back in 91, he still visits the golf club and is a huge ambassador and a fan and all of our members, because he's now a fellow member. Ryan will become a fellow member and ever so proud of the club that we have there at Royal Birkdale. So I think, it was unfortunate. He didn't endear himself to the rest of his colleagues who had to wait for their tea times to come out. But as I say, no, everybody's that I've spoken to has forgotten about BDC, and it's all about Foxy. Foxy, what did he do? How good were those shots? What was that putt like? How did he feel? That drive on 18, but there was plenty of good shots during that round, other than the way he finished. To me, how he dealt with the adversity on 15, walking down there and seeing that ball in the bunker, he must have gone, oh my goodness. But then he started the chain of events that led to him becoming the champion. Absolutely brilliant, Ryan Fox. What a great Open Championship it was.
Yeah, indeed. It was indeed a great Open Championship. Brilliant in every way. Congratulations to you guys as members. Congratulations to Sharon in the distinctive role that she played in making all of this happen. She and you have every reason to be very proud about that as well. And congratulations for staging a historic Open that long will be remembered for so many reasons. Primarily for me, too, will be what Ryan Fox did, particularly the way that he finished and the courage that he showed with the decisions that he made. To have the clarity in that moment is truly a gift, and he is a very, very gifted golfer indeed. Paul Eales, thank you for your time. Thank you for the week, my friend. It was a joy to spend it with you.
My pleasure, Matty. Always great to spend time with you, my friend.
Thank you so much. That was Paul Eales joining us live this morning. All right, Paul is one of those, he being a professional touring player too, that uses the Newton golf shaft. That's how significant these Newton golf shafts are. Dom plays the Newton golf shaft. I have a Newton golf shaft. Many of the people that were on our Scotland fan trip were playing the Newton golf shaft. And why? You're talking about a vast array of abilities, because the Newton golf shaft works for a vast array of abilities, allowing you to feel the load at the top of your golf swing because of the symmetry of how it is made, which incidentally it is made right in the USA. It also has an incredible ability not only to add length to your drives, and who doesn't want that, but also to control dispersion of your drives so that your drives, even if they're hit a little bit off center, remain in play. Quite remarkable. It's got the magic formula. You can too, just by logging on to newtongolfco.com. Okay, when we come back, the Open, an event of this stature, the last major on the men's side of the game, it's going to have an impact on a lot of things. We're going to talk about some of those areas of impact when we come back right here on the Fairways of Life show. All right, time now for Super Stroke. Get a grip. Ryan Fox uses the Zenergy 1.0P 17-inch for Ryan Fox. What is the right grip for you? You can find out by logging on to superstrokeusa.com. All right, let's take a look at the President's Cup standings right now. Remember I was talking about kind of impacts and consequences through the majors of 2026? USA. Standings as follows. Number 1, Scotty Scheffler. Number 2, Cam Young. Number 3, Russell Henley. Number 4, Sam Burns. Number 5, Ben Griffin. Number 6, Colin Morikawa. Number 7 is Chris Gotterup. Number 8, J.J. Spawn. Number 9, Wyndham Clark. 10 is Justin Thomas. 11, Xander Schauffele. 12, Akshay Bhatia. International side. Number 1 is Siwoo Kim. Number 2, Ryan Fox. Number 3, Min-Woo Lee. Number 4 is Hideki Matsuyama. Number 5 is Tom Kim. Number 6, Corey Connors. Number 7, Adam Scott. Number 8, Nico Echeverria. Number 9 is Jason Day. Number 10 is Ryo Hisatsune. Number 11, Casey Jarvis. And number 12 is Nick Taylor. As to how players get onto this President's Cup team, let's take a look at that as well. Top 6 PGA Tour members with most FedEx Cup points through August 23rd. That's the end of the BMW Championship. And the point system works as follows. 1 FedEx Cup point equals 1 point. 2025 PGA Tour events. 1 FedEx Cup point equals 1.5 events in 2026 PGA Tour events, and 1 FedEx Cup point equals 2 points in the majors and the players. And then the captain's picks will be 6 selections to be made in Team USA side, Brandt Snedeker, and then for the international side by Jeff Ogilvy. Again, top 6 eligible for international players as well after August 31st. That's the end of the Tour Championship when they will lock down total official World Golf Ranking points in 2026. If tied, 2 would be official World Golf Ranking points from the players through the Tour Championship. So, Dom, when I was flying back the other day, you got in touch with me and said, we're going to do a segment on the President's Cup. What motivated you to say, now's the time, it's time for us to take a look at this thing now?
So I don't want to turn this into a 30-minute discussion. I'll try and be as brief as I can. The U.S. Ryder Cup team is 3-9 since 2002, and I believe we've lost 3 home Ryder Cups in that span. I don't have the answers. Things aren't working, for sure. So my argument or my question to you and the people would be,
yes,
how do we shake things up? What do we need to do to start to make real material change? And I offered this up. I had Andrew put this together as a graphic. None of these people are automatically qualified to be on the U.S. team right now. I realize I'm mentioning the Ryder Cup, but I'm talking about the President's Cup.
Right.
I think they're intertwined. So go ahead and bring this in, Andrew. None of these players are automatically qualified right now. They're respectively 12, 13, 15, and 19, technically considered on the bubble. All of these players are in their 20s. You can see on that graphic, Matt, all of these players have played well in 2026 thus far. Now, we can get into the minutia of the points and what these guys need to do to get in to like an automatic spot. It is possible. They have to play exceptional in the next 5 events to do it. But they're sort of on the bubble right now. They're all in their 20s. None of them have President's Cup, Ryder Cup. Nothing. They don't have the experience that I'm talking about. Here's my question to you and the people. Shouldn't we be putting these players on the team? Especially if they're going to play decent in the next 5 events.
Leave that graphic up there, Andrew, if you would, because I love looking at this stuff. I love Akshay Bhatia, right? Whenever you talk to past Ryder Cuppers or President's Cup team members on either side, they will all tell you the same thing. It all comes down to putting, right? And if you look at the performances on the greens, particularly because you started with talking about the Ryder Cup and the fact that the United States does not have proficiency as yet within the Ryder Cup, they'll all tell you it all comes down to putting, and it's amazing how well the other side putts. Akshay Bhatia is second in strokes gained putting at 24 years old. And he already has a win in 2026 and 4 top 10s. I like Akshay Bhatia a lot. I would love to see him on the team. He's number 12, and we've got, 5 events? And 2 of
Correct.
those are...
We only have 5 events, but it's a little complicated just to round that out. You have the 3M this Open. You've got the Rocket Classic, and then you have the Wyndham Championship, which is the last event of the regular season. And then you've got the FedEx and the BMW, the first 2 events of the
and it
PGA
locks
Tour
down after
playoffs
the
for
BMW,
FedEx
as
Cup.
we showed in that
so
graphic.
These guys that you're looking at are unlikely to play in all of those events. They're more likely to play in a handful of them.
Well, we'll see. What I'm saying
worth.
is there's still time for someone like Akshay Bhatia to try to wedge his way into maybe a higher position than 12th, although 12th is not a bad position to be in when everyone above 6 has to get a captain's pick. So I don't know whether Brandt Snedeker will kind of go down the old boys network and pick somebody that's outside of the top 12. I kind of like it when captains go, here's the top 6. The next 6 that I'm going to pick are pretty much the way that they align themselves in the points. It doesn't have to be hard and fast on that, but I like it being pretty close to it personally. But I like the way this looks. I like Jacob at 13, third in strokes gained putting. Again, already won this year. And if you look at Akshay with what he won the Arnold Palmer Invitational. If you look at what Jacob won, he won the Genesis Invitational, 2 of the invitationals hosted by the legends, one being Arnold Palmer and the other being Tiger Woods in this regard. Then you've got Ryan Gerard, another 26-year-old, 3 runner-up finishes this year, so he's been knocking on the door a lot. But Ryan Gerard plays with a chip on his shoulder, and you kind of like those guys on the team. Alex Smalley, who factored in the Open early on this past week, very much factored at the PGA Championship. Quiet guy, 29 years old. I'd love to see that too. Let's go back to, if you would, Andrew. I know I'm having you go all around with graphics, but the points for the President's Cup. I love the way that the idea, I should say, Dom, of bringing in some new blood. So there you see, you've got Justin Thomas, you got Xander Schauffele, you've got Colin Morikawa, you've got guys that have been kind of staples on the United States Ryder Cup and President's Cup teams for some time, and I get the virtues of having veteran campaigners on there. But there you see Akshay and Jacob. Harris English is on there. Ryan Gerard, guys that you've seen on there before. I like Cam Young on the team. I like Russell Henley. I think Henley's like a silent assassin. Sam Burns is a great putter. Ben Griffin, again, I'd like to see – Ben Griffin's been flashing more recently with some good play, but I'd like to see him play even better over the course of the 5 events that remain before the lockdown. Although currently right now he's in one of the automatic positions. You were in an automatic position, full credit to you. Love that Chris Gotterup is there, right, with the way that he's emerged on the stage. Again, J.J. Spawn's major champion with his victory in the U.S. Open. I don't know whether what he's done this year will be enough. He's played well, obviously, but he's also not played well. So it's that balance. But I think he deserves to be there, and I think he should stay. Wyndham Clark is reigning major champion this year. That's a lock. So it comes down to those final few spots that Dom is talking about, and there's not as many spots available as you think. It might be 1, it might be 2. If I was forced to decide of 1 or 2, for me it'd be either Akshay or Jacob. That's where my mind is right now. And then after that, I would definitely go with Ryan Gerard, and Ryan Gerard might be enough to jump over some people over the coming weeks. So it's really exciting. Just for a second, let's take a look at the international side. When you look at this international side, is it just me, or does the international side in 2026 look particularly strong? At least when you're talking about Siwoo Kim, who's incredibly consistent. Ryan Fox, who just won the Open. Min Woo Lee, who's an exciting player who I don't think would turn his back on the intensity of the competition. Hideki Matsuyama is just solid, but he needs for his putter to show up at the President's Cup to be a true factor. Tom Kim just won. I love Corey Connor's game because of how settled it can be, but it needs to be on that week. Adam Scott is a veteran. I think he needs to be there. Nico is another player that I think plays with a little bit of a chip. Jason Day, veteran campaigner, major champion. I'd like to see him find an even better form heading in. Rio coming in from Japan, again, another really young player. He's a guy that you could look at and say, well, he's probably going to represent the future of the International President's Cup team, but he plays without fear. Jarvis is South African, another one of these new good young players. Nick Taylor, a veteran campaigner, but a solid player all around. Sanjay M, Pat Geetzer, talk about young. And Schapper, all these players at the bottom edge of that need to do more to get their names thrust into consideration. But I think the international team for the President's Cup is super strong as well. So we'll see how that plays itself out. All right, we're going to take one more break here. When we come back, we're going to talk some more about what we saw over the course of last week, try to get to some sound from Tommy Fleetwood, from Cam Young, and maybe we'll even talk a little bit more about what happened before the Open when we had our trip through Scotland with all of you guys, which was so much fun. All of that coming up on the Fairways Life Show. Stay with us.
My name is David McLeod, golf course architect for the latest course at Streamsong. Welcome to Bone Valley.
Head down, water down the left, bunker down the right, take the club straight back.
Wandering minds. When golfers lose their focus, they're totally... But Bridgestone can help. Introducing Mindset. The ball scientifically designed to keep you focused. First, identify your target. Next, visualize your shot path.
And then focus on the green dot and smooth one.
Play the Tour B and E12 with Mindset technology.
See what happens when we work together? Stuff like that.
Imagine your ultimate golf experience. There's a good chance it's Michigan's Magnificent 11. 11 spectacular courses from Boyne Golf, varied in both topography and play. Boyne Golf was named the #1 best golf destination in USA Today Reader's Choice 2025. And the Highlands at Harbor Springs is the #2 golf resort in that same USA Today poll. The ultimate golf experience. That's Michigan's Magnificent 11.
This is golf.
A shot, honey.
And this is Golf's Superstore.
Oh, yeah, we'll take this.
When you play PXG, everything clicks. That's the sound of confidence, of performance, of knowing your new PXG Gen 8 irons and new Lightning woods are designed and custom fit for pros and golfers just like you. A better game is just a click away. Visit pxg.com to learn more. PXG, you've never played like this before.
Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. You know, Hub's Peanuts has been cooking up the top 1% of peanuts for over 70 years. And these aren't your average nut. These are super extra large Virginia peanuts cooked in the USA. Family-owned Hub's Peanuts have more protein than any other nuts. So whether it's a boost on the course or a special gift, the variety of flavors guarantees Hub's Peanuts is just what you need. Family-owned, nutritious, delicious, and sustainable. Hub's Peanuts, it's just right. HubsPeanuts.com.
Every golfer dreams of reaching the next level. FlightScope Mevo Gen 2 gives you 18 data parameters with the accuracy you demand to improve your game, all measured with FlightScope's patented fusion tracking. Its 6-hour battery life gives you uninterrupted play and practice outdoors and indoors. Tee it up on the included simulation bundle. See your shots come to life with the FlightScope AR Tracer. Have fun, improve your game, shoot lower scores with no required subscriptions. Buy your FlightScope Mevo Gen 2 now at FlightScope.com.
4. This is golf, and this is Golf Superstore, the only place you can walk in for a free driver fitting, have it built, and tee it up the same day. Try Fit and Go today.
Time now for the FlightScope Did You Know? Congratulations to the recipients of the Gary Player International Player of the Year Award. It is presented by FlightScope. It was awarded to 5 outstanding collegiate golfers from outside of the United States. It's done in partnership with the Golf Coaches Association of America. And as you can see there, you can see the different categories: Division I, Division II, Division III, etc., and carries on. So congratulations to everybody, as that is an incredibly distinctive award anytime that you do something that has the name of the great Gary Player, 4th all-time, tied with Ben Hogan for the most major championships won associated with your career. You are doing something right indeed. He's been playing a lot of golf in Scotland. I've seen the videos of late of Mr. Player at the old course at St. Andrews and more. And I love that at 90 years old, he still loves the game so much that he's going out and playing it anywhere and everywhere that he possibly can. Can you imagine showing up and you're seeing Mr. Player there? It's crazy. It's very, very cool that we still have the honor of his presence being around, and that of, Jack Nicklaus. Saw a lot of Tom Watson at the Open last week. As I mentioned, Sir Nick Faldo, I did a big Q&A with him and Fanny, which was unbelievable. And he was in rare form, too, very engaged and telling great stories. Our trip with Dom, I'm sure you're still getting it, too. It's funny when you do something as intensive as a trip like we did through the Highlands of Scotland and then swinging down through St. Andrews and playing the courses in and around St. Andrews, including the old course. It kind of bonds people, and you can notice it with the messages that continue to reverberate. And there's Dominic at the background. The hotel in the background is where we stayed. That's the old course hotel. And on the left, just up next to his hat, that's the Jigger Inn. You can kind of see it right there. So, it's amazing. And one of the things that excited me the most about it was being able to bring our group in and give them guaranteed tee times on the old course. That's what we do with Fairways of Life. So if you guys end up traveling with us down the road, we do it with a guarantee. You're not coming in and some kind of standby status on the ballot. You're actually knowing that you have a tee time on the old course, because I think that's super important. In fact, we've got a big trip to Southwest Ireland next year, and along those lines, when we go to, for example, when we go to Ballybunion, we're playing 2 days at Ballybunion. So you're going to play Ballybunion Old, but instead of setting it up as back-to-back rounds on Ballybunion Old, I wanted to play the Cashin course at Ballybunion. The Cashin course has been renovated by none other than the aforementioned legend that is Tom Watson. And so that's going to be really fun. You're looking at the old course right now, hard on the sea. That's the par 4 11th that Tom Watson calls the greatest par 4 in the world. You can see the green up there, kind of center of your screen right now, right hard on the sea. But then when we get to Lahinch, we're going to play the old course of Lahinch not once, but twice. And again, these experiences for me are really important, because you can't get on Ballybunion to play 2 rounds. You can't get on Lahinch in the same trip to play 2 rounds. You just can't do it. And we're going to make sure that it happens, not to mention all the other incredible courses that we're going to play, including Tralee. My 3 memberships in the Southwest are Ballybunion, Lahinch, and Tralee, and I love bringing you guys back. I call it my Ireland in that section, and meeting my friends and going to all the different sites. And, I mean, look at this. Does that not send a chill right up your spine? So it's really, really cool, and the trip was really neat, Dom, and the fact that we can continue to look back on those recent memories of that tour through the Highlands of Scotland and through the St. Andrews of Scotland with fans of the Fairways of Life show is really neat, really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm speechless, Matt. Like you said, it's friends for life, literally.
Yeah.
And a lot of these folks you meet, you've never met them before, and now anytime you're passing through the state they're in, you're making a detour.
Yeah, I would put it. I would agree with it that way. Next week's show, in fact, I fly back up to New York this weekend, and I'm hosting Golf Central next week from NBC Sports. And next Wednesday's show, what you're watching right now, and then syndicated over the weekend on Wednesday on ESPN, and then syndicated over the weekend. That show will be our show from Scotland, and Dom and Andrew and John and anybody that touches his show has been heavily involved in putting together the Scotland show. The Scotland show is based primarily on showing you St. Andrews and talking about the significance of the history of St. Andrews. And we went at it. There's a lot of people that have tried to do that and have done similar things to that. But what we tried to do was show you things that are a little bit different, things that you may not have heard before. We reached out to this gent named Richard, and he runs St. Andrews Tours.com. And he's a bit of a rebel, Dom. I liked his perspective, because he would come up and say, everyone thinks this about whatever the particular area is, but it's actually this. Like when he showed us where the Martyrs monument is behind the R&A building. It's kind of across the street from the Scores Pub and Hotel, if you know where that is. And he was explaining that whole hill was built because that's where they buried the dead from the plague. But in front of it, there was a quarry, and that was where they were practicing archery and all that. So here's one piece. I'll show Dom. I'll grab the one that we did on the Swilken Bridge, because I think it kind of gives a unique perspective in terms of this objective of showing you St. Andrews in a way, hopefully, that you haven't seen before, or there'll be bits and pieces that you didn't know.
The Swilken Bridge is actually older than the old course of St. Andrews. A lot of people think that this was built by farmers, but it wasn't. This bridge was actually built by the church so that pilgrims had a place to come and cross this bridge on their way to the cathedral. What's interesting about it is if you look at the Swilken Burn, all that is above the burn itself, that's how much Old Tom raised this entire turf area here, because the surf used to come in almost halfway through this landmass. He raised it up enough that this Swilken Bridge, and incidentally, Swilken means to swallow in the Scottish native tongue. And now it is no longer swallowed by the turf because of how much he built everything up. Check this picture out. This was Old Tom himself hitting a shot. Up on his left, standing on the bridge, that's Alan Robertson that you can see in this photo. And look at how high the bridge relative to the tops of their head is. And it illustrates for you the difference between the middle 1800s and how it stands today.
Amazing. It's that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. And you know what else, Dom? I'd like to show him a little taster of was the Patrick Hamilton, the P and the H. There's different colored stones set in the sidewalk, and that's where he was burned at the stake as a heretic. And you'll hear me mention this at the start of this piece, that the students of St. Andrews University, is that if you step on those initials, you're going to fail your exams. So here's another perspective that's uniquely St. Andrews and a little bit spooky at the same time.
If you were a student here at St. Andrews University, you would never stand on this spot. You can see it is a P and an H. That stands for Patrick Hamilton, and this was the spot for Patrick Hamilton at the tender age of 24 years old in 1528 that he was burned at the stake. He was convicted of heresy by the Catholic Church because he was preaching Lutheranism that he learned as he was traveling throughout Europe. Originally, he was associated here with the Catholic Church and going down that direction, but it was a direction that didn't speak to his heart. What spoke to his heart here ended up becoming a gruesome execution, because the monks who were putting him to death on this spot really didn't know what they were doing. It was the first preacher that they killed this way, and it was a stormy day, and the accounts are that it took a full 6 hours before Patrick met his demise and was turned to ash. After that, and this is where it gets really weird, but it's part of the magic of St. Andrews, apparently they tell us that the vestige of his face is forevermore in the stone that is above us. Spooky, isn't it?
Crazy. Could you guys see that in that video? His face in the stone, and they claim that no one knows how that happened, that it happened immediately after he was put to death on that spot. So crazy stuff. But anyways, that will be in the show that we will feature next week of our tour through Scotland, which will feature not only St. Andrews intensely, as you just saw, but also draping in some of the different places that we visited, like Royal Dornoch along the way, Cruden Bay and the Battle of the Danes that took place on that property and more. I promised you Tommy Fleetwood, so I want to get to that now. Tommy was proud of what took place at Royal Birkdale when he met with the media afterwards, but he was at the same time emotional.
Yeah, 18 was pretty emotional. Yeah, it was just very, very special. I've just said a couple of times that, like, there's disappointment that I didn't win today, or that I couldn't get it done when I was in a really good position. Of course, there's only one person that gets to win it, and like, my dream of winning the Open will carry on, and I'll continue to chase it. But there was stuff like that, walking down 18 and the atmosphere out there was, that was beyond stuff that I've dreamt of. Those were stuff that I never imagined, and the crowds were amazing, and they made it the most special week ever for me, and I can't thank them enough. Southport is a very, very special place to me. It's where I was born, it's where I grew up, and it's an amazing town. I really think that the town this week has just, they've done us all proud. Everybody from Southport, in the area have been incredible, and honestly, anybody that I spoke to, it's given one of the best Opens ever. Everybody talks about it, and the crowd here, and the atmosphere, and the golf course, and watching. Yeah, I am a part of trying to, grow the game and try and help kids, try and get them into golf, and try and let them start their dreams, and hopefully they'll be here one day. And seeing that many of them out today is really, really special, and I just try and be the best example possible for them, so they help me as much as I help them. I don't get that emotional, but yeah, that was like, that was heavy stuff. Like, they were incredible, and like I just alluded to, like, that's, when you, as a kid, when you're dreaming of like having putts to win the Open, or playing the Open, or winning the Open, that's one thing. I could never imagine something like that on 18 and getting that ovation and that support that I had this week, and that's like, that's incredibly special, and I do know how incredibly lucky I am to experience that, and I'm so grateful for everyone, because that's like stuff like my kids are there watching that, and I just think it's so cool that they get to experience that, and yeah, I can't ask for any more from everybody. It was amazing.
An amazing week, indeed. Congratulations to Ryan Fox winning the 154th Open. Thank you to Paul Eales for joining us and for his friendship and hospitality last week. And thank you to all of you, as ever. Until we are together again, be well. Goodbye for now.